This summer semester, I spent 3 months working at the Margaret M. Bridwell Art Library at the University of Louisville. This library works within a larger research institution to provide over 93,000 volumes, hundreds of videos and DVDs, and subscriptions to journals related to art, design, and architecture. It is housed within Schneider Hall, which is the Fine Arts building, making it central to its primary users. Fine arts and art history faculty, students, alumni, and community members all make use of this library and its resources. This library has a group study room, computer stations, scanners, copy stations, study areas, and a rare book room, which houses archival materials, exhibition notices, brochures, and other ephemera related to regional artists. The rare book room also holds the collection I worked closely with over the summer, the Artists' Books collection. I worked under Sarah Carter, the director of the Art Library, on a project revitalizing the digital presence of the Artists' Books collection. Artists' books are not easily defined and are a fairly new form, having gained more practitioners in the 1960s. The Artists' Books collection at the Bridwell Art Library currently contains over 300 works, which are mostly editioned or unique. While Sarah and I began creating a new digital index for this collection, Trish Blair, the evening and weekend supervisor of the Art Library, was working to reorganize the books in archival boxes. So for the summer, the books were held in the group study room for ease of access for both projects. Before our project began, there were 2 ways to view the collection online. One being the online catalog, which does not include photos and currently does not have controlled vocabulary terms related to the style of the book structure. This search for artists' books generally shows how difficult it is to see only artists' book specimens and not just books pertaining to that subject. The other online option is a LibGuide that lists books in the collection in alphabetical order by primary creator's last name and includes small thumbnail images. While the LibGuide does have photos, unless a searcher knew what creator they were looking for, there is no way to search the collection. Additionally, images were not capable of zooming or enlarging, making browsing more difficult. To begin developing the new online index, Sarah and I discussed a number of factors which would shape the final product, the first being copyright concerns. We reviewed the College Art Association's Code of Best Practices and Fair Use for the Visual Arts and the Code of Best Practices and Fair Use for Academic and Research Librarians before meeting with Dwayne Butler, who is the Endowed Chair for Scholarly Communication. He gave us recommendations based on his knowledge of fair use, and we used all of these guides to form a proposal detailing our project's alignment with fair use practices. The full project proposal was then submitted to the Digital Initiatives librarian, Rachel Howard. Working within a larger academic research institution's framework meant a lot of collaboration, which only strengthened the final product. While we waited for Rachel's response to our proposal, Sarah and I conducted a lit review and viewed other digital representations of artist books collections to develop our project in the greater context of the art library field. Through our research, we agreed that 3 things were needed for our project to be optimal for users. First, the ability to tag books based on different construction traits. Second, entries with multiple images of each book that are high quality. And third, a system that allows for both browsing based on tags and specific searching. With these qualities in mind, we met with Rachel to discuss what was possible while aligning with university policy. Through these discussions, we landed on using the CONTENTdm system for our project. CONTENTdm is a digital collections management system which has been used for multiple projects at the University of Louisville. For our project, we created a crosswalk which allowed us to map our field names to standard field names in CONTENTdm. Of the crosswalk fields, 3 were entirely unique to our index: style, material, and technique. These are the primary ways we anticipate users will seek items based on previous requests made of the art librarian, since most users are creators themselves and want to examine the craftsmanship of books to gain insights or inspiration for their own work. Once all of the plans had been made, the processing of books could begin. For this video, we'll follow the steps to prepare one book's entry in our online Artist Books Index. This book is titled The Phoenix and was a collaboration between the creators Richard Clement, Benjamin Thorpe, Kathy Ledecker, and Linda Sampson-Toulour. The first step when preparing an entry is photographing the book. Here you can see the photo lab we were granted permission to use by the photography professors over the summer. The books were shot on a product lighting table using a Nikon D5200 camera. The lighting is not archival quality, but books were lit for short periods of time and the table was turned off between shoots for minimum exposure. The lighting of the table did produce professional, high-quality images of the books that would have been very difficult to achieve otherwise. When shooting a book, the emphasis is on aspects of that book's construction and style. Shots must be approached with the future searcher in mind. What about this book is unique? How is this book assembled? What are the different ways to manipulate this book? What elements would a user be most interested in seeing? While thinking about these and other possible questions, books would be shot in multiple views and the best shots would be selected later. Lighting throughout the table has to be frequently adjusted in order to best capture the book. All of these elements must be in balance to produce a high-quality, useful image that is necessary for the future searcher. Once the image has been taken, the book is first processed by me. After cleaning up metadata from a catalog report of artists' books, I would begin applying terms to our 3 unique categories of style, material, and technique. Sarah and I worked through a Google Sheet while processing the books since the primary computers at my disposal were Macs, and Google Sheets allow for simultaneous editing. To process a book, I would locate it in the Google Sheet, then use the Art Libraries Association of North America's Artist Book Thesaurus to apply terms to the style field. The emphasis was on binding style and construction, but other stylistic elements would be included based on the thesaurus's included terms. Next would be the material and technique fields, which were decided using the Art and Architecture Thesaurus for controlled vocabulary. For these fields, I would read the colophon and analyze the book for various technical elements. With all terms entered in the sheet, the first pass was finished. Books were then taken to Sarah for the second pass, where she would check the terms I suggested and make additions or changes. The third pass was conducted together, in which we reviewed each book and our assigned terms against the Artist Books Thesaurus, the Art and Architecture Thesaurus, and the terms list we had generated through our previous 2 rounds of tagging to ensure all books had thorough metadata. This process greatly helped us create more cohesive tagging as we synthesized our term application to promote consistency throughout the index. Once the photo had been taken and the book had its 3 passes for controlled vocabulary application, I was able to begin the final preparations of the photos and the metadata for upload in the CONTENTdm system. For each book, their entry would be reviewed field by field to ensure everything was formatted correctly. The addition or omission of a single space or semicolon could cause errors in the final upload. I also checked all creators against the Library of Congress authorities, as some had not been formatted in the initial report. Later, this cleaned up data would be uploaded into the Access database. Once every field was triple checked for accuracy, the entry's photo would be edited and properly filed. Before individual editing, images were batch resized and converted into TIFF files using a Photoshop script. The TIFF files do not create the same space concerns on a library server, and they are able to be automatically converted into JPEG 2000s by the CONTENTdm system. Images would undergo surface edits, then would be refiled using a naming convention that attached it to the entry in the Access database. Images were ordered alphabetically by how we wanted them to appear in the index, with the primary image being tagged with an A on the end. With the entry's metadata completely processed and the images edited and filed, the book is ready for the final stage. I sat down with the Digital Initiatives librarian, Rachel Howard, and shadowed the upload process. She had already crosswalked our terms and added the new controlled vocabulary we had provided, so the upload of 86 entries and their images went smoothly after one small correction was made to the data. The site was published soon after, featuring the new landing page designed by Terry Holtz, the head of web services, with photographs from our collection. To use the Phoenix as an example, if a user knew the name of the book, they could simply search for it to find the entry. Once discovered, they would be able to browse multiple images as well as zoom in for details of the construction or technical qualities. They could also view a list of terms applied to the book, decide they want to explore a style, material, or technique further, and simply click on that term to view a query of any book in the collection that also has that term applied. To start the search over, if a student did not know the name of a book but knew the construction, they could instead go to the style list on the homepage, click their desired style, then browse the collection until the sought title was found. These multiple avenues to reach the same title, the high-quality images, and the ability to both search or browse the collection achieve the goals we originally set for our index. This highly collaborative project would not have been as successful without multiple librarians using their skill set to enhance the final product. While a huge step has been taken through my Practicum experience in regards to this project, the final goal is still to add every book in the Artist Books collection to this index. The batch upload process will be repeated until this ultimate goal is realized, and then books will be prepared and added as they are required for the collection. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about this project and the different steps necessary to create a digital index from conception to the completed first batch of entries. I would like to take a moment to thank everyone who assisted with this project for the enriching experience. Thank you for watching.